Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from the group third. First of all, I would like to introduce myself and the group members. I am Nurul Fitria as a moderator, and
I'm Muktiudis Rasmayanti.
I'm Moriana Ananda.
Nurul Maulidan Kurniawan.
yeah, all right. Without any further ado, I would start the presentation. So as you can see here, it is the title of our presentation, English Curriculum Analysis, subbab from syllabus subbab 2, from syllabus design to curriculum development. Next, please. So this is the name of our member group. Next, please. Okay. Here, as you can see here, there are 6 points that we will explain. The first one is the quiz for new method. The second one, changing need for foreign language in Europe. The third one, English for specific purpose. The fourth one, needs analysis in ESP. 5, communicative language teaching, and the last one, emergence of a curriculum approach in language teaching. So let's start by discussion the point 1. Next, please. Okay. The quiz for new methods. After World War II, immigrants, refugees, and foreign students created a great demand for foreign language courses because of the role of English as an international communication language. Its development was very rapid in the 1915. Apart from that, technological developments such as radio, film, and television really support the role of foreign language. And in order to meet the changing need of language learner, more up-to-date teaching methods were needed that reflected the latest understanding of the nature of language and of language learning. Linguistics was a source of theory about the organization and structure of language, and this were eagerly applied in the course of new scientifically based teaching method. And there are 3 types of teaching method. The first one, structural situation approach or situational language teaching. In Britain, applied linguistics develop a methodology that draw on the oral approach that had been developed in the 20s and 30s, linked to a carefully graded grammatical and lexical syllabus. The methodology had the following characters. The first one, a structural syllabus with great vocabulary levels. The second one, meaningful presentation of structure in context through the use of situation of contextualized new teaching point. And the last one, a sequence of classroom activity that went from presentation to control practice to fear production, or it also called a 3P or PPP method. And the second method, it is audiolingual method. In the United States in the 1916, language teaching was also under the sway of powerful method that audiolingual method. Stein described the period from 1958 to 1964 as the golden age of audiolingualism. This draw on the work of American structural linguistics, which provide the basic for a grammatical syllabus and the teaching approach that draw heavily on the theory of behaviorism. So teaching technique made as to repetition of dialogue and pattern practice as a basic of automatization, followed by exercise that involved in transferring learning pattern to new situation. River state that assumption of audiolingualism as a habit are strengthened by reinforcement. Foreign language habits are formed most effectively by giving the right response, not by mistakes. And language is a behavior, and behavior can learn only by including the student to behavior. And the third method, it is audiovisual method. It is the similar method with the audiolingual method, but it is developed in Europe and become known as audiovisual method because that is use of visual means for presenting and practicing new language item. And next, please. Okay. The second point is a changing need for foreign language in Europe. This adjustment, which were frequently suffered, can be referred to as a revolution in language instruction. However, this revolution has paid little attention to circumstance of or motivation to the student. Instead, it has focused on how people learn and what language is. As a result, consideration of the reason why people acquire a second language or evolution of outcome had become largely absent. Because there are many concerns regarding this learning, a review is being carried out regarding language learning in Europe. And in 1969, the Council of Europe, a regional organization of European countries designed to promote cultural and educational cooperation. In order to promote that more effective learning of foreign language within the community, decided that in full understanding is to be achieved among the countries of Europe, the language barrier between them must be removed. And the second one, linguistic diversity is part of European cultural heritage, and that is sought through the study of modern language, provide a source of intellectual achievement rather than obtains to unit. And the last one, only if the study of modern European language becomes the general with full mutual understanding that cooperation be possible in Europe. And it was during this period that communicative language teaching (CLT) emerged as a new direction for language teaching, and it attracted a widespread interest and enthusiasm as a way of moving language teaching beyond an obsession with the letters teaching method and to examination of basic assumption about the goals, nature, and process of language teaching. And CLT will discuss further later in this chapter. Okay, just all for me. The next session, the next topic, the next point will explain by Okti.
Okay, I want to explain about English for specific purpose. First is, what is English for specific purposes? English for specific purposes, or ACP, is the term used to describe the study of English that focuses on specific application or purpose, such as academic writing, business communication, or medical English. Next, what is the goal of ACP? The goal of ACP is to help students communicate more effectively in a particular area. For example, someone studying ACP might learn specific vocabulary related to a particular industry, such as medical terminology or accounting terms, in order to be more effective in their job. How does the English for specific purposes system work? The ACP system works by identifying and analyzing the language needs and requirements of a specific purpose, such as healthcare or business. Teachers then use targeted language instruction and material to help students develop the language skills necessary for that purpose, while also helping them build their overall competence in written and oral communication. Overall, the ACP system aims to provide students with the language skills and knowledge they need to succeed in a specific field or purpose, while also helping them develop general language skills that can be applied to a wide range of situations. Next. Need to analysis an ACP. To conduct a need analysis, teacher may first identify the field or purpose for which students need to learn English. Second, survey or interview experts in that field. Third, review relevant textbooks, journal, or other publication. Fourth, observe real-world situation in that field. And last is analyze any language data such as academic papers or reports to identify the key vocabulary, grammar, and syntax that are used in that field. Once teachers have conducted a need analysis, that can develop a curriculum specifically tailored to the language needs of the field. This curriculum may include targeted language learning activities, specialized language materials, and real-world experience that help students learn the specific language skills they need. Okay, maybe that's all from me. Next will described by Orina Ananda.
All right, this section will explain by Nurul Maulidan Kurniawan. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. The communicative language teaching. What is the communicative language teaching? Communicative language teaching is a second or a foreign language that focuses on learners' interaction with it and as the means or the ultimate goal of learning a target language. Characteristic of communicative language teaching. The first one is focus on communication. This means the primary goals is to enable learners to use the language for practical purpose, such as holding conversation, expression, opinions, and solving problems. Two, interaction and collaboration. Students engage in meaningful conversation and activities with their peers using the target language as a tool for communication. This fosters a communicative environment where language is used for genuine purpose. 3. Contextual learning. Learners are exposed to authentic materials and situations that reflect the language actual use. 4. Student-centered approach. Teachers facilitate learning by providing opportunities for students to make choice, set goals, and take ownership for their language learning. 5. Text-based learning. Learners are given tasks or projects that require them to use the target language to achieve a specific goal. These tasks often simulate real-life scenarios such as planning a trip or conducting interviews. And then B, application of curriculum development procedures. The first one is need to analysis. Conduct a drop needs analysis to determine the specific language need and goals of the learners. This includes considering their proficiency level, motivation, and the context in which they will use the language. 2. Setting objectives. Clearly define the learning objectives that align with the needs analysis. Objectives should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound or SMART. 3. Content selection. Choose appropriate content and materials that support the learning objective and engage the learner. This may involve selecting textbook, supplementary resources, and authentic materials relevant to the target language. The fourth, sequencing and progressions. Organize the curriculum content in a logical sequence ensuring that learners build on their language skills progressively, start with foundational concepts and gradually introduce more complex language structures and functions. I think that's all from me. Ya, kembalikan ke moderator.
Okay, thank you. And next, the last point will explain by Oriana. Time is yours.
Next slide, please. Okay, so the emergency of a curriculum approach in language teaching represent a shift from a purely instruction focus to a more comprehensive and systematic framework for language education. This approach recognizes that language teaching involves more than just teaching grammar and vocabulary. It encompasses a broader set of objectives and considerations. Here's 10 key aspects of this approach. The first one is holistic perspective. It takes into account not only linguistic aspects like grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation, but also communicative, culture, and social dimensions. This means that language learners are exposed to real-world language use and culture context. Next is clear objective. These objectives are typically aligned with the Common Europe Framework of Reference for Language as CEFR or other standardized frameworks. This ensures that learners progress systematically through different language proficiency levels. Next is progression and sequencing. Curriculum design involves the careful sequencing of language context and skills. For example, students may start with basic vocabulary and grammar and gradually progress to more complex language structure. Next is assessment and evaluations. Regular assessments such as quizzes, exam, or performance tests are used to gauge language proficiency and determine if learners are meeting the START objective. Next is materials and resources. This can include textbooks, audiovisual aids, online resources, and authentic materials like newspaper, videos, or podcasts. Next is adaptation and flexibility. Effective language teaching curricula are adaptable to needs of diverse learners, teachers, and adjust the curriculum to accommodate different learning styles, levels, and goals. Next is cultural competence. Learners are exposed to the culture aspect of the target language, helping them understand how language is intertwined with custom, traditions, and social norms. Next is communication skills. This means that learners are encouraged to use the language actively in real-life situations, fostering proficiency in speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Next is professional development. Teachers implementing a curriculum approach often requiring training and professional development to effectively deliver the curriculum. This ensures that instructions are equipped with the necessary pedagogical skill. The last one is continuous improvements. Feedback from students and teachers is used to refine the curriculum, making it more effective and responsive to changing language learning needs. Next, please.
Udah itu aja.
So here's the summary, the emergency of curriculum approach in language teaching represent a more organized and comprehensive method of instructing learners, focusing not only on linguistic aspect but also on culture understanding, communication skills, and learner-centered adaptability. This approach aims to provide a structured and meaningful language learning experience for students. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right, I think that's all from our group to explain a little bit about the subbab number 2. And we explain all of the 6 points. And thank you very much for attention. I think just all from us. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.